We're live. Yes. Woo!
And
Okay.
here we are.
Yes. Welcome back to another episode of
Just like us.
I'm your host, Justin Burgess, my co-host, lovely lady,
Letty Zito.
How you guys doing out there tonight? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're at in the world. You guys could be anywhere in the world, but you guys are here with us. So thank you for being here. We're excited to have you guys here.
Yes.
We're moving up, you guys. We're moving up. As you can see, we got 2 new microphones. Well, this one's I've had for a while, but this one is new. And we're excited. We've got a new setup, and we just keep on continuing to grow and move forward and progress. So,
yes, please let us know how the sound is.
yes, give us a thumbs up if you guys can hear us.
Let us know in the comments.
So, this episode, we're going to be talking about healthy on purpose, mind, body, and spirit aligned. This one's good, I feel, because I've had some, scares in the past year that, thank God there were scares. That really, it had me thinking about where I am at and where I'm going to be. I don't want to be laid up in a hospital bed or something before I take action on things that, pertaining to my health, our health, things that are going to help us progress and move forward with our life. I don't want to look back with regret. I don't want to have something happen and then take action. I want to be able to be
proactive,
preventive in a sense.
Yes.
So welcome into everybody who's here. So health starts with awareness, not perfection. So this episode is talking about taking care of our mind and our body and our spirit and as best health as we can, because again, who wants to be on a bed sick before they're like, dang, I could have prevented this by eating better or whatever the case may be. So
thinking better.
Yeah. And again, because thoughts definitely, they can definitely
affect the body,
your what you do on a daily basis. So
again,
again,
we're
spirit. Here today is a great day to be alive, like any other day.
Yes.
What do they say? Any day above ground is a good day. And to me, that's very, very true. How do you feel about that?
I feel fantastic about that. I think that, what you're saying is true. That it starts with awareness, not perfection. What goes on inside of us is just as important as what goes on outside of us or how we look on the outside. I don't know about you. I mean, I like to look nice, don't get me wrong, right? But because it helps me feel better. But if I don't have the inside going on too, once I take that outside off, the inside is going to feel like it usually does. So, it just starts with awareness, like you said, how your body feels to you. Our bodies give us clues every single day. And a lot of us, myself included, ignored those clues, how my body felt. I just ignored it. And didn't want to deal with it. And, substances didn't help. And sometimes it was really overwhelming. It's like when you're using substances, you're giving yourself, mixed signals. The signals can't get through clearly because it's, being blocked, or, maybe you have trauma. We're not experts at this. We're just sharing what our experience has been through our, use of many substances. And having that self-awareness, like I said, your body gives you the clues, and it's a good thing to listen to them. They're trying to tell you something, they're trying to teach you something. So I think it's a good idea to just start, to listen to what your body is telling you, and paying attention to it. How does it feel in certain situations? How does it feel when you eat certain foods? Right? Like I said, it does tell us. How does it feel when you have, certain spiritual practices? How is it making you align with yourself, with, God, with the universe? How do you feel really? How are you aligning? All three, right? Got to line up. And sometimes, we can, if they're not all three in alignment, even if one of them's off, I mean, it can throw the other two out of whack, or, vice versa.
Well, spiritual health is the foundation, not the afterthought. It's not something that I don't feel, in my opinion, I just want to make sure that I'm being cognizant and aware of the things that could happen. I've been using substance and drugs my whole life. Well, not since I was a baby, obviously, but since I was 13 up, like I've been one way or another taking in some kind of substance or something to for whatever reason, and I know it's taking effect on my body. I know my heart's dealt with a lot, my liver, my kidneys. There's gallbladder. I mean, there's so many things that has happened in my body that I'm not even aware of. That I'm hoping that nothing has damaged it too much. And I also talk to my body. I also say, hey, I know I put you through a lot, but let's keep moving, because I wake up in the morning, guys, and I legitimately am thankful. I really am. I mean, I have so much to be thankful for. But first of all, I woke up, so I'm blessed. I feel like I'm so excited to be here. Amen. So for me personally, I wake up in a good mood every day on purpose. And I don't have to, I don't have to practice being in a good mood. I just know that I woke up and I'm feeling great because I woke up, my eyes are up, and I'm alive. I'm like, okay, I'm here. And it's like that every morning. Letty knows I wake up in a good mood every day. Yeah, I do. And it's, there's days where I get woke up and I'm probably grouchy, but for the most part, like, I'm very appreciative of where I'm at and what I'm doing. So thank God for everything working. And this podcast was really, designed because we take things for granted. My son had a rash on his back yesterday and the day before as well. And it just made me think that, if you got an eyelash behind your eye and it got stuck in there, like there's so many things that we take for granted that, there's trillions of cells in our bodies that are keeping us, moving our fingers and the synovial fluid in your fingers and everything that we're going through that we have is like, we're just blessed. Like, can you imagine like what it took to get us here? You know what I mean? What we had to fight through to be able to be here as people. So, this is just to appreciate our bodies. If you get tired, your body's saying, I
take a break.
Rest, I need some rest. And I've been doing that lately because I have been staying up a lot lately, but I need to be more, again, conscious of my health, my mind, where I'm at, because, a healthy body is a healthy mind and vice versa. So I feel like, taking care of myself, and I've asked Leti lately to start juicing. I would love to go on an all juice diet, because why not? Why not? I've been eating a lot of meat and a lot of, dairy and other things that could be potentially harming my body. So right now I'm just like, I'm in the mode to start. If I'm doing good by my body and my mind, I'm going to continue thriving in my life, I feel. So.
And what did I say? No guarantee. No.
Okay. You don't got to hug the mic anymore.
I like to hug the mic.
Everybody's on here. I see we got 3 guests on, 3 people on here.
Hi, everyone.
Give us a thumbs up. We can't see who it is exactly, but can
but thank you.
Still? Can you guys hear?
Yeah.
Are the mics crisp? Are they?
How do we
good?
Sound?
We don't really know. We're on the other end. We didn't really. We gave it a test run, but again, we're setting it. I'm excited about the new setup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think it looks super crisp.
Yeah, it does.
It looks nice. But so mindset shifts are part of a daily maintenance. So having, we're continuously growing. We're continuously, as people, growing. Me and Letty, myself, we're growing. Consistently growing.
Oh, the lighting. It happens.
It's keeping and I think progressing is, I'm growing constantly. So being around people, and I'm changing every single day. So it's because it's right there. It's coming on down a little bit.
You think?
Yeah.
Where?
You see it right there.
One moment, please.
Yes, there you go. But yeah, so progressing, that should work. So yes, and again, I think staying focused on what I'm happy with, and we're growing consistently, and just look at our podcast. When we started out, I seen the first episode the other day. We weren't dressed up, it was just kind of like we weren't. The very first time I had the white, like anyways, we have progressed quite a bit, and I'm excited about that. I'm happy that we're continuously moving forward and not being stagnant. And even if we were, I just feel like it's okay to live life, however you feel, necessary. But myself, I would like to be able to leave a legacy with my son, and I'm building that. And so,
of course,
I talked to Leti about it yesterday, and I'm like, I don't have any, like a life, what's it called, life insurance or like a plan, and I want to get that, and I'm working on it now. Like, I'm working on making sure that I leave this little boy with something, because if I pass away now, where would I be buried? Where would I, where's my, like, there's so many questions, and I don't want to have something happen and not have any answers. I want to start making sure that we have things prepared, ready, waiting to, when something does happen, because we all know at some point we're going to pass. You know what I mean? So, but again, I'm busy living, and I would like to think of life, but there is that chance, and it is going to come someday. So I want to preventive maintain now, and so I'm making sure I'm sleeping well, and then I'm not stressing too much, because recently at my 9 to 5, it's been very stressful. There's been a lot of stress going on, and it just doesn't feel good to have so much anxiety and things like making your heart pound. And because here's a fact you guys may not have known: the average lifespan for any mammal, whether it be a mammal or whether it be a whale or a chipmunk, is about an average 1.3 billion heartbeats. So, just a fun fact that, the more you stress, the more your heart's pounding, and 1 billion heartbeats sounds like a lot, but you figure it's beating like 100 something thousand times a day. You know what I mean? And so, it's a phenomenal muscle and organ, but at some point it's going to give out, right? Your heart's going to, hopefully we live to be 100, but if we do, that's what, 36,500 days. If you live to be 100, that you live. So I want to be as happy as I can for as long as I can, because to me, that frequency, that level of, of mind, body, and spirit is sequential to like a longevity. I want to live as long as I can.
Yeah.
Why not, right? Some people, I asked many people, like, if you could live for 1,000 years, would you? And I'm serious, like 90% of people say no. People say, no, I would not want to live. I'll live, it'd be 1,000,000 years.
Just knowing what I know now, I would want to.
Yeah. I would.
Especially because I have had a rebirth. I've been given an opportunity at a new life, and I don't take that lightly. And I like, what you talked about, wanting to leave a legacy, for our family, for our kids, for our community. It's not just wealth. That's one of them, right? But I want to leave a legacy of love, of integrity, of honesty, of health,
right.
Of having a sound mind, and passing on, the things that I've learned to my kids. Right. Well, there goes when the lights go down in the city. Hey. Anyways, it is what it is. You just keep it moving. But would I want to live to 1,000? Like I said, knowing what I know now, knowing that the key has always been inside of me, right? That if I had just gone inward, but I was so afraid to do that. But now that I've done that, and I'm discovering things about myself, that amaze me, and some things that, I feel disappointed in, but they don't define me. I get to turn those over to God, and allow Him to do what He needs to do in me, instead of, sorry, something shiny. I got distracted. It happens. Yeah, that one should work a lot better. Yeah, that's not good. Anyways, I lost my train of thought, but I, like I said earlier, physical health is more than, looks. It is about how you feel on the inside, right? Because you could, I dressed really nice for a lot of the jobs, positions that I held. And I could fake the funk for a minute, right? People thought, God, she's so pretty and she's so confident. And, that's what I put out there to the world. But eventually, whatever is on the inside of you, it's going to get revealed, right? And it's not to hurt you or to harm you. It's so that you can come into, the best version of yourself, what you were made to be. And this is, my spiritual health is like my top priority. Above anything else. I do make sure, because when I was connecting to myself, like I've shared before, I've always felt a connection to something bigger than me. I could sense that there was this something watching over me. I put myself in some really scary positions, or positions where I shouldn't be here, and I'm still here. And so I have always sensed that, that there was something that was like auto correcting me, saying, "Ooh, danger, go this way." No matter how far off track I would get, there was always something bringing me closer. It's hard to explain. I just feel this connection, this power that surges through my veins, through my heart, through my entire body. And for me, my spiritual health, there's lots of practices, that I have. There's prayer and meditation. There's, journaling. Like being outside in nature helps me feel close to that, what I believe created me, my creator, the universe, God, whatever it means to you. For me, it's God. And it's important that I give thanks to that which created me, that gave me, the breath in my lungs and this life that I'm living, and gave me not just another chance, but so many chances I have been given to, you know, live a life with purpose instead of trying to be validated or, trying to be demanding and forcing, people to love me or like me or want me. Um, it feels good to just be. I'm here to be what I was created to be. And I feel like by being on this podcast and, sitting here with you, that we're both walking in our purpose, and that is just to be as transparent as, we can be. We're still learning and growing, and more of that will come in time.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
That's enough out of me. What about you?
Well, again, the idea for this episode came from myself because I haven't been feeling all that well, and I don't mean just like, like headaches or anything like that, but and it just, sometimes you just get a one of those things where you reflect and you just want to make sure that you're doing what your purpose is, and maybe not for everybody, but for me, I just want to make sure that I am being. Desmond's here. What's up, Desmond? That I'm doing, what's good by myself. My health is super important. So for me, I feel fantastic that I'm able to see this thing, and so okay, so Letty goes to these certain these things that she does for herself, and the reason I reflect on myself, right? I'm able to. I stopped using because I did it by choice. I stopped using by choice. I was able to, and thank God I didn't have a heart attack. Thank God I didn't end up in prison or something like that. I was able to stop using what was destroying my body because I'm like, you know what, it's time. And for me, that's powerful because I don't know many people, like a lot of people I've known have had to, quit for various reasons, but I'm just blessed to have that awareness that, it's time. I need to start doing for me and my family, but first put the oxygen mask on, right? I need to be able to put the oxygen mask on myself, be able to steer the vehicle so that we don't crash and continue moving forward, right? I mean, straight up, like, so my health is number one, because if you don't have a heart that's beating, what are you going to be able to do? How are you going to be able to move forward if you're in a hospital bed, So let's read some of the comments. We got Desmond watching, but the feed keeps cutting out for me, out for me a bit. Justin and Letty, and we got Patty. Patty says, "Hello,
Patty.
My beautiful friends. What's
Love
up,
you,
Patty?
Patty?
How you doing? Okay, it's back, Desmond. Let's go. Hope you're feeling better, Justin. Yes, love to see the new setup. Are we sounding good? Can we get a thumbs up from anybody? Anybody got us? Do we sound crisp? Because we got both the new microphones.
Crystal clear.
I think her microphones is better, which is good. But 100% health.
Yeah.
You know what I've been through. Yes. And I think about that a lot, Desmond. If you don't mind me saying. Desmond, if you don't mind, had heart surgery. Desmond's a good friend and a mentor of mine, and he had heart surgery. And I'm telling you, since you have, because we came in to the challenge and to the academy right after you had, I think you missed the first challenge when we were on.
Oh, right.
Because you had heart surgery. And so that has actually really, hearing that ended up like really triggering a lot of things for me. Whether you know this or not, Desmond, having you say you had heart surgery and showing the scar and stuff like that, it scared me. Not saying you're seeing that, but it scared me where I was like, okay, I don't want to be in a hospital. I don't want to have heart surgery. I don't want to feel like, I feel like, certain things trigger me in the best ways. Okay. And so I don't think I've ever told you this, Desmond, that, she said yours is crystal, but, is it echoing? Okay. we'll have to share that next time. But thank you for the feedback. No pun intended. But yes. So Desmond, I don't know if I ever told you this, but hearing your story about having heart surgery, it really did. It frightened me. It was something I was like, wow, and so it made me really, really start being more cognizant of what I'm doing with my body, and so that led to stopping the nicotine as well as the coffee and the caffeine. This is a big one, you guys. So being able to quit caffeine, it's not easy. Okay, I mean, it's in everything. It's not everything, but there's caffeine in so many things that I'm literally having to use ChatGPT. I'm taking photos of stuff, and I'm like, okay, does this have caffeine? Does this have? And I'm so good with it now. I'm like, it's now a habit to not drink it. It's now a habit to not get have caffeine in drinks, and like I'm consciously asking, hey, does this have caffeine in it? And it feels good because I don't have a crash, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but to me, I see the difference in what I was doing with like having to have these energy drinks and going to the hospital and feeling like, man, it could be something wrong with my heart. I was drinking like 3 or 4 Red Bulls a day. Remember that? I was drinking 3 or 4 of those bad boys a day, but I had a lot of energy, of course, but I had the crash and and it was affecting my body. So, this episode is about making sure that we're taking care of our bodies, our mind, our health in general, because it really is very important. At the end of the day, you got to have a body and a mind to be able to consciously be aware and like move forward. So this is really about making sure that you guys and myself as a whole just reflect on what it is that we're blessed to be able to wake up. I feel, in my opinion, I'm blessed to be able to have all the trillions of cells, 15 trillion cells in my body working, and so this is just about taking a step back and smelling the roses and just saying it's not always about go. It's not always about the money. It's not always about making sure that it's important to have a roof over your head. It's important to have the essentials, you guys, but just take a step back. And I'm saying this to myself. I'm saying this to you guys for me, because sometimes I overdo it. Sometimes I go, and it's more often than not, but I really need to take a step back and make sure that my health is my number one priority, because outside of that, what do I have? I can't take care of my kid. I can't help take care of the family and the house if my health isn't good. If I got sick right now, what would I do? You know what I mean? 9 to 5, I'm on no pay kind of thing. So I mean, you really got to understand that. Yeah, you have to pay the bills, but you got to keep care of yourself. So
and enjoy those little things. You said, would you say smell the roses? Like I literally, when I'm in the store, right, they're just little things that I overlooked because I was so busy trying to get a career and make all this money and have all these nice things. And, now I have a garage full of stuff I'm not using. It's our stuff.
It's my fault. But,
and it's those little things, you staying in the present moment, right? Not, thinking too much about the past. I mean, I don't want to forget about it, right? Because it helped make me who I am. And I could, you talk about that inflammation, Desmond. I can feel when I get stressed or even angry, really angry, which I'm working on. Anyways, I'm working on it. So that inflammation, I can feel that like course through my body when I get stressed.
Right.
And so your body starts to tell you something before it goes to your brain and then comes out of here. So if you can catch what your body is saying to you first, you have a better shot at, keeping it from rolling around in here and then, creating an emotion and spitting out whatever comes out, right? Because I was notorious for that. But I could feel that inflammation like in my body. It's, I don't know if you can relate to that.
I'm gonna read what Desmond is saying. So for you guys who are not able to see the comments, Desmond Soon, good brother of mine, the inflammation the inflammation from stress and substance was the killer that put that nail in my coffin. So he's talking about his heart surgery, about having substance use and being stressed out and constantly probably work, go, and having to be like all the time. You be on point. You got to have a downtime. You got to have some time to like reflect, to be able to like just R&R time. And then he also said, Leti, I can relate. Learning to let go and just operate on my own terms instead of letting people control my schedule. That's probably, I got chills right now. That's probably, like, again, you guys, this is Desmond Soon. This is one of my mentors, if you don't mind me saying, Desmond, but this is one of my mentors that I look up to, that is pouring into me and helping, me learn a lot of things. And this is some of the stuff I learned and these things that you might not think about on a daily basis, but just to reflect on it. He's had heart surgery, open heart surgery. And, these are the things that make me, I don't have to go through it, hopefully, to learn it. And that's key for me. I feel like I want my son to not have to burn his hand, so that I have enough of a communication skills, enough, to be able to talk to him and say, hey, this is why this can happen. This is what you should and shouldn't do. I tell my son this, I say, you could do whatever you want. But in front of me, there's certain things that I expect from you as my son to uphold. Like you don't spit in front of women. You chew with your mouth closed. The basic essentials. But I would like for him to take these when he's old enough and be able to use these in his own life. But I'm teaching him now. Hey, these are the rules of life. You can go, if you want to be the worst person in the world, you can be. I'm not going to be able to stop you. But I hope that you learn from my mistakes and let me tell you about it. And so we have a good enough relationship. I feel that I can discuss so many things with this 6-year-old. Like I'm telling you, he's advanced. And I don't want to give him too much, but it feels good to have a relationship like that, because I would like for him to learn from my mistakes and not have to go learn I told him the other day, I said, listen, vaping, because we came out and there was somebody using a vaping pen and they blew a big old cloud. And he's like, whoa. And I was like, that vaping is they're going to try to get you, son. I said, you know what addiction is? He said, yeah, when you smoke cigarettes and you do something that you don't want to. And I said, yes. I said, the vaping is going to have flavors in it. So you're going to want to, there's going to be your friends that are going to want to have you taste this, and it tastes really good, but it's very, very bad for you. I said, why do you think I quit? See, Dad hasn't vaped for over a year. It's been almost a year now, you guys. I've been almost nicotine free for almost a year now.
Yeah.
I'm super hyped up about that. That's part of my health, right? And Desmond said, I used to wear the badge of go, the hero who always had to show up and save the day and outwork everybody. I can see that. Then going to beer and coke and recreational drugs to chill out, work hard, party harder. Yeah, was so wrong. Eat fast food, sleep a little bit, and then go. Macho. Yes, absolutely. You are so spot on, Justin. Super proud of you and how much you have grown. Thank you for that. Much. And I feel great. You know what I mean? I'm a very sentimental person, so sometimes I tear up. But I have a lot of emotions, which I let these things guide me, not steer me. I let them guide me, not just control me. Like I love how I am emotionally. Sometimes, Desmond, as I've seen, sometimes I can let my emotions get the best of me. You know what I mean? And sometimes I need to just harness those and not let those become the forefront of how I'm feeling and put that out. Sometimes I need to take a step back, and I'm pretty good at it usually. But it's something I'm very passionate about. I could, like anyone else, I can get excited about things and get overwhelmed. So, but with my son, I feel like I'm really good at taking the time and being patient with him, explaining things. And even then, sometimes I'm like, come on, and I'm short with him, but I catch myself and I like to feel like, okay. And, like if you've ever spanked your kid, I haven't spanked him for a long time, but I've spanked him before and it hurt me. You guys know what I'm talking about. It hurts you worse than it does the kid, I'm sure. Of course, they got a little red bottom, but it hurts you as a person. It did me. It made me cry. Like I physically went and started bawling. I was like, man, I don't like it. There's no need for it. This kid understands so well. Like we don't need to spank him. He doesn't need to be, swatted. I thought it was necessary to let him know, hey, I'm the boss. I'm the one. But he doesn't. He just needs some talking to. I get on his level, eye level, and say, hey, this is why this is. And I'm patient with it. I'm patient with myself, because let's be real. Like being patient with yourself, people can see how calm you can be. But if you're going to get outright, just angry over something, they can see it. People know how to throw you off your game. Let's be real. Like that's why you see in like sports and things like that, people taunt because they know, hey, I get this person off their game. So they're thinking about what, and so it's like that for me in life too. I want my son to trust me and bond with me. And me and my son have this understanding that if you don't ever have to lie to me, you don't. You know what I mean? If you tell the truth, you're never going to be in trouble no matter what. And this kid, he's super honest. Justin Lee, he's super honest. Dad, I'm be honest with you, Dad.
I love how he says, I love how he says, I don't really want to tell you this, but here it goes. Right. I'm like, it's okay. You can tell me. And even if I do get a little upset, I do tell him, oh, okay, you know what? We did say that even if you were honest, but we have that, it's an open dialogue, and I did this with my other 4 children. They're grown and out of the house. So we only have Justin here. Right. And, I made a lot of mistakes as a parent, and I'm going to continue to make them, right? But I'm not beating myself up. I was trying to be perfect for you and everybody else. And even too perfect for myself. I'm just navigating. We're all just getting
Right.
through this thing called life,
Right.
to the best of our ability, and where we can be kind, where we can be loving it, but let it start with you. Because if you don't even feel it for yourself, there's a scripture that said, or I don't know, anyway, scripture or something that I heard, love thy neighbor as thyself. And I've asked myself, like, if I don't even love myself, how am I supposed to love my neighbor
Right.
like that?
Absolutely,
right.
Yeah.
I knew how to love, how to be kind to people. I don't necessarily know if it was love or if it was me trying to get something from somebody. Oh, we're getting some more. Patty said, way to go. It takes great self-control to overcome addictions. Yes.
Desmond said, Justin Bird, the way you and Leti raised Justin Jr. is already in the top 2% of how parents think and raise kids. And I believe that. And he also says, plus both of you being a balanced and have your own unique styles. Yes, absolutely right.
Right.
And also what I am proud of both of you is that you're transparent and sharing what is working and what you are working out. And again, for someone like Desmond to say these things, like, this is somebody who that is our mentor. This is something that we highly look up to. That has done a lot. I don't want to share too much because I learned in the past podcast. I got to be careful with what I say. Although it's positive to me, I don't want to overstep any boundaries. So, but let me just say that Desmond, soon, I would love to have you up here, brother, as a guest. I would love to have you on here. There's so much that oh my gosh, I get chills started
so much
because just thinking about what we've learned with you, together in the past year has, like the IPAs, like, this, you are somebody that we enjoy having you in our life, and we get to speak with you enough to know, like, you have a very warm heart. You have some beautiful kids, and like the way your heart is, you're a lot like both of us, and us like you in so many ways. And it feels good to have somebody in our corner that's successful, that's so business driven, but also you have the heart of gold. You know what I mean? You're just the things that you have done for us, with us, has been a blessing, because some people go their whole life and not meet somebody like yourself,
right?
And I feel the same way about me. Somebody goes their whole life and they may not get a chance to meet somebody like me. So I feel like I'm an outgoing person, and I like to think that I affect people in a positive way. I got a lot of energy. Sometimes it's a bit much for people, but it's okay. I'm not everybody's cup of tea,
right?
You know what I mean? So, but I'm good by that. But having somebody like Desmond around us has been,
sure.
Right? It's
for sure. I mean, great it really has. Like, he's pushed us. Oh, I don't even like to use the word push. No. But he's pushed us, and sometimes, Desmond knows this, about us. I could be stubborn, and sometimes
I know that
scared and set in my ways. Like, I'll catastrophize before something even happens. Like, oh my God, that's not even going to work. But yes, because I'm opening, myself up again. I'm getting myself out of survival mode. That's what I was living off of. Survival mode, which means like fight or flight. Like, I was always looking for the other shoe to drop. And I'm, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, right? I'm opening up. I'm
gorgeous.
Thank you.
God, isn't she,
well,
guys?
Thank you, God, and my mom and dad.
Like, wow. You know what I mean?
It's probably the lighting.
And also, Desmond said he'd be honored to be on here. So
yes,
I'm gonna hold you to it. You know what I mean?
He is just a wealth of information. Desmond, it's like mind blowing.
You have held your work on everything, and like, we've been around you enough. You know what I mean? That you're a stand-up guy. You know what I mean? You're a stand-up person. I'm proud to say you're my mentor. You're our mentor. You're somebody that, again, we very highly believe in, and you have proven yourself to us. And again, it's not about who's got the higher status, but I'm not letting anybody in my life. I'm not just allowing anybody and everybody, as neither should you guys.
Right.
But having the right who's in your life, man, it makes all the difference. When you got people who really genuinely want to see you win, that have been there and that are getting there as well, that, those are the kind of people I feel I want in my life. Master P told me, like, personally, he said, you want people around you that are going to push you. You know what I mean? The day that the people around him stop pushing him, that's the day he lets him go. And again, I'm not sad or mad about anything that has to do with me moving forward.
Right.
I want to progress, and having the right who's around me is definitely where I'm at in my life. I've got, people that are successful, but not just like in business, but like
in spiritually,
life, mentally, people that respect themselves, that I highly feel like that is something that I not only need, but want in my life. And I have that option. I no longer I grew up in a gang. So growing up in my past, it was like, I didn't know there was a world outside of my neighborhood. I thought that was it. Like the way my homies were was like, that was it. Like you don't go kick it with off brands. Off brands, what we call people that just weren't from the neighborhood. You go outside of the circle. It's kind of like you might as well stay there. And that's not what was said. It was kind of unspoken. It was just one of those things like, we don't kick with anybody else outside. So now I'm like, I choose my friends. You know what I mean? If they don't upstand or hold up to my standards, then I'm okay with letting people go. I'm okay with letting people just, and I'm good with it. And it doesn't have to be, something that's like prolonged. Like, it's like, really okay, cool. I'm good with just like letting people go because I don't have the space for that anymore. And for anybody who's on here that's known me for an extended amount of time, I have friends that I've had since I was 2. We just went camping with my one of my longest friends in my life, Chris Paris. Yeah. And I've known him since I was 3 years old. We learned how to ride a bike together. I've known him 39, 40 years. And we still are around each other. And he's very successful. And so for me, I have lifelong friends. I have, successful people, but having people like Desmond Soon, you guys look him up. I dare you. Desmond, Desmond Soon. Check him out. He's done a lot of successful big time things in the corporate world, in the business world. He's huge. And to me, I'm just proud to have him in my life. So Desmond, yes, we definitely want to have you on at some point. Yes. We had little Justin on. I don't know if you ever get about that. What a great experience. You know what I mean? Yeah. What a great experience to have your kid because he has his little hand. Yay. And like, I just love having him around. He's so bright and he's so, energetic. And I want to say part of that is, because I think he's learning from us. And I mean, any guys can relate and understand that our kids are a direct reflect from us. How you treat your kids, it's going to show. My son, I don't raise my hand and he doesn't, he doesn't have to cower it up. He doesn't like, I'm not mean. He's open to be himself. And I love that about him. I love that about me as a parent because, let's be real, you guys. I think you have to be confident with yourself to be able for it to shine through your kids too. Your confidence shows. And I'm not talking about looks. I'm talking about confidence. Confidence throughout your heart, the way you are, the way you treat people, my son, he's still like, do you say I love you to everybody? He told me that the other day. We're out. Yeah, I do. And I'm not ashamed of it. And I'm not. Maybe it'll die out someday. But again, I'll bring this up that I seen an ad. My aunt sent me this thing from the newspaper clip, and I was 4 years old. I wrote Suzanne. I was 4 years old telling people I loved them. People I didn't know. So I've been saying that since I was a kid. So it's kind of my thing. But Desmond, it'd be great to have you up here. We had, who we had on here last week was Sarah Masani. Desmond, we had Sarah Masani up here, and she's super smart too, and she has a lot of knowledge and things that we didn't know. I didn't know she was a food scientist, right? And she has a degree, and she's been in 27 years. 27 years. It was, in food science. So that was kind of cool. So. We're looking to have, people that are wealth of knowledge or just, I'm actually going to bring a buddy of mine that I've known for a few years that he's still using substance, but I want to bring him up just because, just to get different, from one end of the spectrum to the other. Like we get people who are extremely, wealthy and knowledgeable to people who are in the gutter. Like I'm right in between. Like I'm in between from being a user, like he was, down and out of his luck to being on my way to being a business successful. And that's by choice. I feel like me thriving and doing better is going to affect my family. And again, having the right who's around me is definitely helping. Because if you got people who are winning, that want to see you win, man, up is the only place to go, right?
There's winners everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You just got to find the ones that you want to win with, Right, we've heard it said right before, you find somebody who's doing what you want to do. And copy them, the right cat, right?
Nothing wrong with copying, as long as you copy the right cat.
Because no one's going to do it like you. It's just getting the right blueprint to follow and making it yours, right? Because nobody has the DNA that I have it in my body, exactly the way that I have it. And so, you still get to bring your creative side, you talked about, or Desmond Soon coming up. Like I had asked somebody, and I'm not going to name any names. Right, I asked them, hey, would you love to come on the podcast? And they were like, no, we're not ready to, to do that right now. And I was like, dang it. All right. That sucks. But
why though? Why not?
They have the right to say no, and I don't need an explanation. Like before, I would have been like, why? I would have been like, you need to be on here, right? And I'm learning. And it's okay. Like they said no. Oh my God, I'm still here. I didn't die. I'll get the courage to ask, someone else. I mean, Desmond did agree to,
But again,
come
it
on
feels
here.
good.
He
So
said,
it feels
bet
good.
it's a deal.
Yeah, real
So
talk. So, again,
yeah.
real
So
talk. So, again, we appreciate you guys being here with us because you could be
yes.
anywhere in the world, but to be here with us, we're honored. And again, we're growing. We're growing because we're pouring into ourselves, guys. We're spending the time. We're spending the money. We're showing up for ourselves every week. We show up not once, but twice a week for this because we know the impact it makes on us by showing up. And this is what I would consider to be consistency. Desmond says, been clean for over 10 years, went cold turkey, so I can relate. He said, I kept drinking beer and wine from 2014 to 2024 and then cut off 90%. And I'm transparent and I'm not 100% sober. I do still have a few glasses of wine on Saturday and Sunday only, but the identity has changed.
Yeah.
The reason why has changed. Okay, and see, that's progress, you guys. That's progress.
Totally.
But and it's not like you're stuck in a rut and like your every dollar goes to booze or binging or anything like that. You're still progressing because I've seen you. I know how you're progressing. You're still continues to push forward. You live in a beautiful place. You're happy, and I think overall, like the stress factor for any of us, that's probably one of the key killers in America. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it is probably the number one killer in America is related to somehow with stress, anxiety, having overwhelming amounts of work, or just think about it.
Our fears.
Our stress is built and made for us to be able to run from a lion. You know what I mean? Like in the wilderness, what our stress is made to not be on all day. I got to get to school. I got to get to work. I got to do this. I got to do like constantly go. That's frightening. That's no wonder our hearts are full of that chemical that's not good for us. It's constantly stressing us out. I know the word I can't think of it, but cortisol. Yeah, so again, this podcast is about take a breath, smell the roses. It's good to be excited, but overwhelmed and overworked. We have the option to say no for whatever. Like if we don't want a car payment, you don't have to have one. You don't want to stress for, I think we're just taught, or like we're just like trained in a sense to think that all these things are necessary. I'm absolutely a victim of this, or not a victim, but I'm guilty of this because I'm here dressing up and I'm on social media and and there's no rhyme. I just feel like I'm in the rut with you guys. So
yeah, Desmond, he just posted something there in the chat. Said, Justin and Leti, what is one action item that someone who can relate can do to feel progress, to feel that they are making progress? What can they look forward to? What do they stand to lose if they put it off later? Well, gosh, you could lose your life. You could lose yourself. But what did he say? What is one action item? We'll do the first one first. Okay. What is one action item that someone can relate? Man, I am not reading this well. What is one action item that someone who can relate can do to feel some progress?
Okay. Start. You have to start. Even if it's stopping, you got to start stopping. And I say that because I know all too well that I have been going. I continuously go. But you got to start stopping. And I mean, if it's negative, go for the negative. If it's positive, stay in the positive. But there's one thing that Desmond has taught me, and I got a list of books now. Oh, I feel so good about this. I got my list of books. Desmond soon will tell you straight up. Reading is not always like easy, but when you get that muscle memory and you continuously do it, and it becomes something of like second nature. You continuously do it. And so for me, I had to start stopping. Okay. And it may sound kind of like unorthodox or like doesn't make sense, but I had to start to stop getting in my way. And the things that were blocking me were the essential things, like not these, but the main things were like the nicotine, the alcohol, the drugs, but also being thankful for something and like praying. I haven't always been a prayer, but to answer your question, what is something that people can do to start continuously? Like I think you have to start.
I would say like what we did in the beginning, right? Even before we had stopped, is we made a list. We made a list of things we wanted, where we wanted to be. Remember?
It was 100. We had a list.
We had 100 things.
Yes. What was that for?
I think it was
for a holiday, a Christmas or something. New Year's. We wrote 100 things down, and I'm telling you, I went back and looked at this paper like 6 months later, and like legitly, almost all of these things were. I wasn't even thinking about it consciously, but they were almost all 100 of them were completed. So I think starting to just really be conscious of like, And
to
again,
brainstorm, I think, what you want, what, even if they're qualities you don't think you have, right? Just start with where you want to be. What do you want for yourself? What are some goals, right? Setting some attainable goals for yourself. I think,
wow, I like this.
yeah, I think journaling, that was huge for me. Just, just writing, not having any kind of a format, but just, I mean, I had locked myself up in a closet. I was in isolation for like a year,
How does it?
and writing, just writing and getting it out, and then I bought, start setting the atmosphere that you want to live in, start setting it up, even if you don't see it right now. I mean, that's
Right,
what faith is.
right,
It's,
yeah.
it's believing that something that hasn't happened can happen,
Right.
and we are in control of whether or not that happens, right? And so,
How does it feel now that you have changed, and has it been worth it? Oh man,
oh,
yes, absolutely. So for me, I'll answer this one real quick. How does it
yes.
feel? How does it
Hmm.
feel now that you have changed it, and has it been worth it? Oh my goodness. And so that could, even
Ooh.
on the side of quitting substance, of course, it's something that we refer to kind of often, because this is a pivotal time in our life where starting to stop has helped me immensely. I don't have, like, I don't wheeze anymore.
Mm.
It was hard for me to like swallow food. I don't have that
Oh,
anymore. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
every now and then, but it was I think it was from inhaling substance that it was hard for me to swallow. And I
yeah,
think, like, it is almost completely gone away to where I can chew food and swallow food just fine now. And you guys don't
yeah.
understand how important this is, because there was a time where I've
Mm.
almost choked several times, like legitly, like it would hurt to have my food going down my esophagus, because it felt like it wanted to
Mm.
come up and go down. It was like squeezing down my throat, and I think that
Yes.
had to do with the substance I was using. That it like made my nerves and my whatever it did, it affected me. But now that I've been free of this, I'm able to, just the simple thing of swallowing. You guys don't understand how important it is to be able to swallow. So yes, it has affected me in the best way possible, and
Yes.
I'm thankful for these things. I often,
Mm.
I reflect on this, and I'm
Mhm.
so glad that I stopped using substance, as well
Yeah.
as nicotine and alcohol. And because, let's just face it, like, these things are not healthy for us. I think cigarettes should be illegal. I think nicotine should be illegal.
Mm.
I do. Okay, so how did you
Yeah.
how did you change? How do you see yourself? So how did you change, and how do you see yourself? These are
We're
great questions.
Yeah, they are. Gosh,
Great questions,
Desmond, why
Jasmine.
you be
This is
putting
this
us
just
on the
adds a lot of value.
spot?
This is great. This is
No.
dope.
Yeah,
Perfect. This
they're
is absolutely
yeah,
wonderful. So
they're
how
great
did you change, and
questions.
how do you see yourself?
How did I
I say,
change?
how did you change? How do you see yourself?
It started with a desire. I wanted to. I knew that not only was I hurting myself with substances, Desmond, but I was also hurting myself with the way that I was thinking
Mm,
and the way that I was acting. So I knew that the way that I was thinking had to do with the way that I was acting out.
mm.
And I didn't know how I was going to change that. I just knew that
Love you too.
I wanted to change. I didn't know how. And I just started, I got these cards. I don't remember what they were, but you could write out, today's reflection, or today, I can do this for myself, or today I would like. And, I started to write some things in there, and I did not feel it. Right.
Really.
I didn't. I'm a
Right.
whatever. I
Yeah.
use
Right.
my
Yeah.
hands to talk,
Right. Yeah.
But I didn't feel it in my body. I couldn't even believe I was having the thoughts, because the thoughts before that I was having were like, I don't
You deserve it.
deserve this. I'm
Right.
never going to get this. Everybody else gets stuff. But when I look back on my life, I'm really grateful. I have had a lot of amazing things and
Right.
amazing
Yeah.
opportunities
Yes.
come my way. That was just lies from a narrative, someone else's story,
Yes.
like parents,
Right.
like, can't you do anything right? And
Right.
that
Yeah.
type of
Yeah.
stuff. And I had to silence those voices,
Right.
but I had to recognize, I had to become aware that I was even having them,
Right.
and, wanting something different, reaching for something that felt better. And that's how I started, was just writing it out. Yeah, it was like being on a hamster wheel, and I was like, I want off.
Yeah.
If anybody's seen that movie Groundhog's Day with Bill Murray,
Yeah.
love
Check
that
this out.
movie. That was me.
Check this out. So Desmond, JJ, you also know Yuri, and you also know TJ. Those three, and Annie and myself, and we were out at dinner, and I was eating some of this food, and it was like, and I want to say I almost started choking, and it was at this fancy restaurant. We were out there in California, and in Fresno, and we were all dressed up to the nines. We were all dressed up, and I swallowed some rice, and it wasn't going down. I was like, oh, so embarrassing. But I had to run to the bathroom and like had to like push it up forcefully, and it wasn't coming. I was like freaking out. I could still kind of breathe, but it was like, have you ever almost choked, you guys, and you're like, uh-oh, you're like kind of like flashing before your eyes, like, oh, is this it? You know what I mean? And so I was like in the bathroom, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh, it was so embarrassing because everybody see me jump up and run to the bathroom. You know what I mean? I didn't want to like freak out in front of but these are side effects from using for so long,
And it's just that quick. It can happen that quick. When was it? Was last year, November, my one of my stepdads passed away because he choked
Thanksgiving Day.
On Thanksgiving Day.
And there was like 5 people around him.
Right.
And nobody saved him. Not that they couldn't, but it was like, for whatever reason, nobody, you know what I mean? He passed away on Thanksgiving, and there was, several people around that, and they weren't able to save him. So
I just want to speak his name, Pedro Perez. And, say thank you that you're watching over us now. And, I learned a lot from him. Even though it was tough growing up, he was an immigrant farm worker, picking grapes, worked very hard. But, also taught us the value of a family, and he was tough on us. He was tough on us. I can remember thinking sometimes, like, why do you have me doing this? This makes no sense. But, it's starting to come full circle. I'm like, okay, now that makes sense. I didn't understand it then. And he may have even been coming from a place of pain or trauma himself, but we can take every lesson that comes our way, whether, we call it positive or negative, but it's just an experience, right? That's how I'm starting to, open myself up to life. Like, it's just an experience. And what can I learn from this? Because if I can see it that way, then I can get through that, enjoy some of it, and then go on to the next lesson. Because that's what this is about. It's about us evolving, in our mind, in our body, and in our spirit. And I feel for myself.
Little Justin is not able to. I've been really big on him sitting down and eating. I mean, big time. But after her stepfather passed away by choking, it was even that more serious about, you need to sit down when it's eating. Don't stand up. You need to, sit down, eat, and then you can go play. I don't want to
enjoy your food.
I'm super serious about it, though. I'm very strict about him sitting down and making sure that he's eating. Like, it is an absolute rule of mine. If I'm around, I even tell when he goes to people's house, please make sure he's sitting down and eating, because it scared the crap out of me. Her stepfather dying and passing away from this, and me almost choking, and her as well several times. Again, these are just side effects from using for so long. There's nothing else I can say that that it's come from. But to answer some of these questions with Desmond, it impacted me so much, and our family so much. Like, it's night and day. It is night and day how far we've come in just a short period of time of being sober. You guys, of just in a short period of time, I've been 100% sober from substance since November. That was the last time I drank any beer. So that's 4 or 5, 6 months completely sober of anything, and even like nicotine and the caffeine, but really like the mind altering things. I feel 100% better. I feel like because our bodies regenerate, right? All our cells regenerate after like 10 years, I believe it is. So, and again, I'm no scientist, but for me, I feel like this is my time. And Desmond says it got stuck in his esophagus and been happening to me until today, and I'm so thankful that, and it hasn't been, they gave me, I went to the doctor for this, Desmond, and they gave me these pills. They wanted me to take these pills, and I'm like, how is that not going to affect, like, like anything else in my body? But it's going to, like, it just didn't make no sense to take pills. And I'm really a holistic kind of person. I don't take much pills,
Right.
but they wanted to give me these pills like, well, if you're having problems swallowing, and they said on this is made for people who have like this kind of thing. I'm just like, no, I don't want to take all that. I just want to, I knew what it was from. I knew it was from constantly using, substance.
Maybe there's some kind of exercise that we can do to, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of exercise your esophagus
right,
muscle, so that doesn't happen. Or, is that something that, we have to live with because of some of the choices that we've made to use substance that, went down our esophagus as well, whether that was alcohol or other,
Hell no. They give you proton inhibitors bad for you. Yes, absolutely right. And again, I feel like, okay, so if my body has issues, or if I'm going through something, I think I'm well, I mean, I have a good communication with myself that my body's telling me something. I'm gonna listen to it. You know what I mean? I am, and I may be stubborn enough when I'm using or when I'm doing. My biggest thing right now is eating the food. So I told Leti yesterday, or was it today? I said I'll pay you whatever I got to be able to have you make juice, because I want to juice. I would like to juice, strictly go on juice. And we had something with Desmond that why did we not do that? Desmond, we got the food, sure, we got the scales, we got everything else, Desmond. And for whatever reason, because I got sick, and for whatever excuse, we ended up not doing any. What was it called?
We just didn't do it.
What was it called?
The metabolic reset.
Yes, metabolic reset. We ended up not doing that for whatever reason, but that was something I was really wanting to do, because again, right now I'm 42, you guys, and my health is extremely, extremely important, because I don't want to be laid up in a hospital bed. So again, this episode is really about reflecting. I want to be able to make sure that I myself am reflecting on not just like, being fully rested, but like what I'm taking and putting in my body, because I think that's more important than anything else.
And the thoughts that we're thinking, and the way, you can even think of different scenarios of how you can react.
Yes.
And I think Chat GPT is like another amazing tool to use.
Grok, Desmond would say, probably.
Okay, I haven't. Look, Desmond, I'm a bit of, like a tech.
Whatever.
I don't want to. Okay, I'm learning. Yeah. I don't want to put anything out there. I'm embracing it. How about that? Yeah. I'm using Chat GPT a whole lot more.
Absolutely.
And learning to not be so afraid of it, right? So I just got to work through some more things, Right. But I am embracing it more. I'm seeing how it can, it can aid us. There's so many tools out there to help us, in business, in love, in communication, in so many different ways, right? It's a really amazing tool.
So we got a upcoming AI Genie workshop, and I should put it up here. It's an AI Genie workshop that I will be hosting.
Do you have it on here?
And it's on the 26th. I myself, Coach Charles, will be there, as well as a couple of our teammates. But it's going to be. Actually, I'm going to post it after this. I've made 2-3 dolls of myself lately, and they're like these things are they're popping. It's a big deal. I know we're coming up on an hour, and usually we go about a half hour, but there's some big things coming up, and so I would like to say, guys, stay tuned. We're extremely proud to be where we're at today. We've come so far, and we're just going to continue to keep growing, especially with the right who's around us, and it's exciting to be where we're at from where we were, before this time, well, not this time, just a couple months before this last year, I was in the garage, keeping substance away so my son didn't see, and but I'm extremely proud of myself and happy for where I am at right now. So I did want to see the comments before we leave. But again, thank you guys for being here with us. And you could be anywhere in the world. Yes. And thank you, Desmond, for being a huge part of this. It's been great having these questions. Having you here at these questions has been great.
Awesome.
It'd be nice to have this more often, because these questions it seems to really hit home in a lot of a lot of different factors. So thank you for being here, Desmond. It's been nice to have somebody like yourself in here. And thank you for everybody else being on here. Again, if you guys are getting something out of this, chat us up, say something in the comments, let us know if there's something that we could do to better this experience for you guys. And again, we're just excited to be here. We're going to keep showing up, and we hope that you guys keep showing up with us. So on that note, do you have anything else you want to add?
Stay grateful.
Stay grateful, for sure.
Stay grounded. Go with the flow.
Go with the flow. So again, thank you guys for being here with us on Just Like Us. And until next time on Friday, we will be live at 6 p.m. PST. So we will see you guys then. Again, thank you guys, and we'll see you soon. Love you guys.
Love you. And thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
End the stream. All right.